With winter well upon us now in the UK, I thought it was time that I shared some of my top detailing tips and tricks for those cold winter months. To start with, the time I was detailing this van, it was 4 degrees outside. So first things first is to look after yourself. First thing I grabbed on this cold day was an AM Details woolly hat. Any detailing brand woolly hat will do, but just make sure your head's covered because it's always a lot more comfier when your extremes are protected. This AMD Details hat fits nicely, snugly, and keeps your hair warm whilst detailing. But like I say, you need to keep the extremes warm, so next up was my shoes. I opted for the Salomon SpeedCross for running trainers. I used these on recommendation of a few detailers, and in fact they're brilliant. They're waterproof, so no matter how many suds and soap and jet washes you get on them, they keep your feet warm and dry throughout the cold, bitter winter months. Perfect when I've been used to wearing normal trainers when detailing a car. These are a godsend. Next is hands. You've got to keep your hands warm. Normally, I just go for one layer of black nitrile gloves, but I would say it's probably a little too chilly for that. So when possible, I opt for a thin pair of running gloves. These Nike ones keep the wind off your hands whilst running. What I do is I go for these, and then on top I go for my black nitrile gloves. This double protection is perfect. Obviously, you don't want to be dunking these in the water, so this method I often keep reserved for interior detailing, when I'm working on the exterior of the vehicle once the car's been washed down and all the wet soapy procedures have been done. However, you need something whilst you're doing that wet soapy procedure. So instead of using the method that you've seen here, I like to opt for the second method, which is double layering your black nitrile gloves. Simple yet effective. This is the best way to keep your hands warm whilst using wash buckets and wash procedures on the car when you know there's going to be a little bit of ingress around your wrist areas. You don't have to worry about your best gloves getting wet. You can just whip them off at the end and exchange them for a new set. Next up, it might sound silly, but it's all about pre-wash. I know that a lot of people have many different views on pre-wash, and in fact I would say a lot of people might even skip this step. It's a big thing in the winter. You don't know what you're picking up. All sorts of road grime and bugs and fallout and salts. Here I was using Finesse citrus power. Once the vehicle had been rinsed down thoroughly, I let citrus power get to work. Note that I've rinsed the vehicle down. Once the vehicle's rinsed down, citrus power can attack what's left on the vehicle. I liberally spray citrus power on the bottom half of the car or van and let it set to work. I give it as much time as possible to be able to sit and attack the grime that was left on the van from the rinse stage. Obviously you don't want to let it dry on the vehicle, but in these winter months you tend to not have direct sun and warmth like you do in the summer, so you get to get that little bit more dwell time around the car or van you're working on. Always useful. Now while that's setting to work and picking up that road grime, it's time for the next tip. Warm water where possible. I'm fortunate whereby my kitchen tap indoors allows me to fit my bucket underneath it. However, if you're not so lucky, just take maybe a smaller bucket like a mop bucket and fill that up in your sink and then decant that into your wash bucket. But like I said, fortunately I could fit my wash bucket perfectly into the sink and let the hot tap run away and create me some nice warm water to keep those double skinned, gloved hands warm. That was a mouthful. Some people opt to add a slight amount of boiling water from the kettle to top the warmth up. However, my tap does plenty for me. Once that's done, you should have had enough time for that citrus power to dwell and cling onto all the grime that was left on your bodywork. So now it's time to take the pressure washer or hose that you're using to rinse the vehicle down and set to work on the second rinse. So note that's rinse, citrus power and rinse. We're trying to get off as much grime and dirt and salt as possible off the bottom half and the top half of the vehicle that you're washing. It might seem an arduous job as just a pre-rinse, but it's all worth it in the end because it creates that softer, safer wash when you come to use contact washing on the vehicle that you're going to wash. I'm fortunate whereby I've got a nice Cransel K10 pressure washer at home to be able to blast the grime off of the van. As you can see, there was still a fair amount of road grime left on the van, and in fact there was also some tyre fitting lubricant, because this van had just received new tyres, actually sprayed up the body from the drive to my house. But with an attack of citrus power and my pressure washer, this was all soon rinsed off. And don't be scared if you haven't got a pressure washer. A good garden hose and a good attachment on the end can do just as much work. But the pressure washer always seems a bit fancier in the videos. Now it's time to enjoy that warm water that you just used. Just be sure to indulge in it while you can, because your hands will get cold afterwards. With that done, it's on to your drying stage and time for my last tip. I use Quick Detailer as a drying aid in the winter every time, no matter what I'm doing. The added benefit of the chemical on the paintwork is for lubricity, but also I find it stops the water freezing out so quick if it's that cold. I've got it decanted in a 1 litre Pro Spray bottle and just dust the surface with it. Most of the water is already dispersed, however this light dusting on the surface just gives you that little bit more time when you come to dry your vehicle in the real cold conditions that is winter. And of course it's got the added benefit of giving you lubrication whilst drying and that little bit of extra shine once you have finished drying your vehicle. So by the time that I had finished up this caddy, it was well and truly cold. In fact, the dashboard was reading out 0.5 of a degree. This was proof the next morning when I went out to it. Snow everywhere. But it's the winter. I had a perfectly detailed car in the snow. This is awesome. As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to share, like, comment and subscribe for more detail and videos in the near future. Cheers!